talk about the Ice Spice and Baby Storm situation. And not necessarily to dissect for the purpose of like taking sides. I don't know either one of these young ladies personally in real life, so it's hard for me to truly advocate for one over the other when I don't know the facts. More so, the reason why this story stands out to me is because there were certain details that I was hearing on my For You page with people talking about this, I guess, friendship or old friendship that were spot on with a lot of the concepts that are listed in this book. So one of the first things that stood out to me is Baby Storm sharing that her and Ice Spice actually didn't have the best background in grade school. She shared that Ice Spice actually wasn't the warmest towards her during that time, before they ended up developing a friendship. Now, what also made me kind of step back and start thinking was she shared she felt like Ice Spice didn't have an interest in becoming friends with her until she started to establish her sense of footing in the music industry. And she felt like, if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna paraphrase, she felt like Ice Spice only wanted to start a friendship at that point so she could use Baby Storm for her resources that she was attaining in the music industry. And this made me think of the person who believes that they're better than you that's listed in the book. And I feel like it's also important to highlight that this is one of the envious personalities that's listed in the They Come in Threes section of the book. And I'm gonna read a little bit from the They Come in Threes section. They Come in Threes is indicative of three envious individuals who require no contact, no strategy, no engagement, and no tolerance. So that's just to give a background as far as like what you're dealing with when you're interacting with this type of envious person. So like I said before, that part of Baby Storm's story, because I think she's the only one who's really talking about this friendship at this point in time. I may be wrong. I haven't really done any additional, scrolling on the For You page. But what Baby Storm was describing sounded spot on to the person who believes that they're better than you. This is the individual who has convinced themselves they are superior to you in their minds, whether it be they were more popular than you, made more money than you, were deemed more attractive, had more influence or affluence, etc. And I'm gonna just read the sections that kind of stand out to me. For example, I like to use the metaphor of the high school jock or cheerleader versus the school nerd. In high school, the jock and cheerleader may have prevailed, but as time goes on and the dynamic shift where the nerd or geek is now successful and influential in adulthood, and the jock and cheerleader are now struggling to find their footing, it can cause great tension and even resentment. Now, because of the details that were shared on Baby Storm's behalf, another personality type that was listed in this book that I felt like was similar to what Baby Storm was describing in this part of the story was the contingent companion. This is the envious person whose association with you is contingent upon their superiority and your inferiority. Now, this quote-unquote friend will pose no threat as long as you never aspire for more in life. Now, we're going to shift gears here. Another aspect that actually stood out to me was, I guess, and this is more so like with other people giving their commentary, and they talked about how like it's weird that Baby Storm, I guess, had issues with Ice Spice, like picking on her at one point in grade school allegedly, and then proceeding to be her friend if she was eventually just going to expose her later on. And that actually reminded me of the accomplice. This envious individual is the most difficult to detect because they are oftentimes the person who is always there for you, always agrees with you, and seemingly provides you with limitless support. However, the deception behind the accomplice is notably dangerous. The deceptive deeds of the accomplice include assisting you in your own demise under the guise of loyalty. The accomplice has an ulterior motive behind their high agreeableness, where they assist their target of envy to their own destruction. But aside from just pointing out different personality types that I felt were similar to the content, or more so like the details that were being discussed on the For You page regarding, this, I guess, friendship, ex-friendship, the general takeaway is this. When you associate yourself with somebody who is not a true friend, it can literally be the catalyst for your downfall. And that's why I'm always stressing the fact that when someone starts displaying certain tendencies and traits that indicate that they are jealous and or envious of you, you have to start moving accordingly. If you have found yourself in a similar situation, because we're just going to use this for educational purposes, like I said, it's not a matter of picking one side over the other. It's a learning experience for people who might be going through it right now. They may need this information in the future. And I know for a lot of us, we've lived through this. I strongly encourage you, if any of this sounds familiar to what you're currently going through with certain friends, peers, colleagues, co-workers, I know a lot of you all put in the comment section like this is prevalent in your family too. I strongly encourage you all to get a copy of this book. The link is in my bio.